Summit. And first of all, allow me to warmest welcome to our distinguished board of director of Jakarta Heart Center. Good morning, Dr. Yusuf. Good morning, Mr. Ricky. And for our honored keynote speaker, Professor Safkat Gorgulu and team. Good morning, Prof. And for our main sponsor from APT Medical, thank you for coming and being with us. And for today's summit carries the theme of focus on optimizing on guide wire and microcatheter in CTO. This topic remains highly relevant as CTO intervention are amongst of the most complex and technically demanding procedure in interventional cardiology. Yet also among the most rewarding when approached with skill and precision. Before we begin, allow me to a brief introduction about our house institution, our dearest Jakarta Heart Center. JHC, established in 2013, has grown with a clear and ambitious vision to become a leading hospital in the field of cardiovascular care, continually evolving through clinical practice, scientific research, and medical education. From 2013 to 2024, we serve more than 85,000 patients and has developed strong center of excellence in both cardiac surgery and cardiac catheterization. JHC is proud to support not only on patient care, but also in professional development, research publication, and education for the next generation of cardiovascular professional. Dear guests, in accordance with a facility and safety management regulation, please allow us to present the safety instruction at Jakarta Heart Center.
Selamat datang di Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta, a place where your heart feels safe. Sesuai dengan undang-undang yang berlaku mengenai keselamatan kerja, maka kami wajib menyampaikan prosedur keselamatan kerja selama Anda berada di area Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta. Berikut ini akan kami sampaikan safety briefing. Safety briefing merupakan prosedur keselamatan yang ditujukan bagi pasien, pengunjung, dan petugas Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta. Gedung Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta terdiri dari 9 lantai dan 2 basement. Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta memiliki 1 pintu masuk utama dan 1 titik kumpul evakuasi. Saat ini, kita sedang berada di auditorium lantai 9 Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta. Ruangan auditorium lantai 9 dilengkapi dengan fasilitas kegiatan dan fasilitas keselamatan yang memiliki 1 pintu masuk dan pintu keluar di sebelah kanan Anda. Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta sendiri telah dilengkapi dengan alat yang dapat mengantisipasi apabila terjadinya kebakaran seperti APAR, hidran, pendeteksi asap dan panas, serta sprinkle yang dapat menyemprotkan air apabila terjadi perubahan suhu minimal 50 hingga 70 derajat Celcius. Alat pemadam api ringan atau APAR terletak di depan ruang auditorium. Jika terjadi kebakaran, diharapkan tidak panik dan jangan berdesak-desakan serta tetap tenang. Prioritaskan wanita hamil, lansia, dan orang yang memiliki kelemahan fisik atau disabilitas. Jika terjadi gempa, lindungi kepala dengan kedua tangan dan carilah tempat berlindung yang aman seperti di bawah meja. Hindari bangunan yang berkaca, jangan berlari, dan berjalan cepat agar tidak terjatuh. Hindari penggunaan lift, gunakan tangga darurat melalui pintu exit di sebelah kiri ruangan auditorium. Bagi wanita yang menggunakan sepatu hak tinggi, harap dilepas. Tutup hidung dan mulut menggunakan kain atau tisu yang dibasahi air untuk menghindari menghirup gas beracun. Mengikuti arah jalur evakuasi P3, kemudian menuju titik kumpul yang berada di depan lobi lantai 1 Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta. Berikut kami informasikan cara penggunaan APAR. Tarik pin atau pengaman, arahkan pada dasar sumber api, tekan tuas, semprotkan satu sisi ke sisi yang lainnya. Kami informasikan bahwa pada saat ini kami tidak sedang melakukan simulasi apapun. Jika terdengar alarm dan bunyi tanda bahaya, itu adalah kejadian yang sebenarnya. Demikian safety briefing ini kami sampaikan. Selamat mengikuti kegiatan selanjutnya. Rumah Sakit Jantung Jakarta, terdepan, terkemuka, terpercaya. Senyum sapa kita, kesembuhan dan kebahagiaan pasien.
To officially open this summit, let's our pleasure to welcome the Dr. Yusuf Rahmat, SPB TKV Konsulan Mars, as a President Director of Jakarta Heart Center, to his opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guest, Professor Şevket Gorgulu, award-renowned expert in chronic total occlusion from Biruni University, Istanbul, Turkey. Esteemed colleagues in interventional cardiology, participants of the 2025 GHC International Summit, Interventional Summit, and the organizing committee who made this event possible. It is truly an honor for us to welcome Professor Şevket Gorgulu, a leading global figure in CTO intervention. His presence at our summit today is a great privilege and a source of inspiration to our entire cardiology community in Indonesia. This summit is not only a platform for knowledge sharing and scientific exchange, but also a valuable opportunity to strengthen collaboration and ignite innovation in managing complex cases such as chronic total occlusion, which remain one of the biggest challenges in interventional cardiology. Jakarta Heart Center Hospital is committed to advancing excellence in cardiac care, education, and research. Through events like this, we aim to foster interventional collaboration, transfer global expertise to local practice, and promote a culture of continued learning among healthcare professionals across the country. I sincerely hope that this summit brings meaningful insight, build bridges across borders, and ultimately contributes to improving the quality of care for our patients. A special thanks to our main sponsor, APT Medical, for the generous support and commitment to innovate in cardiology technology. We are also grateful to Boston Scientific and GE Healthcare, whose ongoing contribute to advance the quality of patient care and professional development in interventional cardiology. Last but not least, I would like to thank everyone who contributed to success of this event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yusuf. Following that, we will hear from our main sponsor, whose strong partnership and making today's event possible. We welcome APT Medical.
Selamat pagi, ladies and gentlemen. Saya Pengki, Director of the PT Medical. Today is definitely our pleasure and honor to invite Professor Gogulu from Turkey to Indonesia at Jakarta Heart Center. Professor, I'm really appreciate that you can come into Jakarta Heart Center to perform your live case and share your knowledge and your clinical experience. And so I believe the international collaboration of the live cases is very meaningful for the development of the cardiology interventional fields. Also, thanks to Jakarta Heart Center to providing this opportunity and chance to let the international collaboration be happens in Indonesia. And once again, thanks, Professor Gogulu, coming to Indonesia. I'm wishing you have a really great, successful today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. And finally, we're especially honored to welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Safkat Gorgut, to give his opening remarks. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I'm very honored to be here, so to say. I thank you all for inviting me for this nice event here. And I feel very comfortable here among my brothers, I can say that. And let's see how this is going to be. So this is a new start, I think. And from here on, we will see how things will evolve. I think I can give you some glimpse of my presentation. Can we go on with my presentation? Is it possible? Yeah. So the APT Medical plays also a very important role in complex PCI. And I have been working with them for the last 2 years. And they have really, really good products. So, yeah, if we can have the slideshow, please. Okay, this is better here. Okay, so this is how it began actually. So it was 2023. I got Ali and Harbanu. We traveled inside Turkey a lot. We visited 8-9 hospitals together, and we worked day and night, and we flew from one city to another city as I am working around Turkey, inside Turkey, outside Turkey. And of course, we worked also in Biruni University in my CAT lab together. And I was very impressed with their dedication. They were dedicated, they had the discipline, they had the stamina, because it's not easy to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and then go to the airport and then to fly to another city and then do procedures there and then come back to Istanbul. So I thank them again for their discipline and hard work that they have done during their fellowship. So this is Biruni University, and this is the graduation of their fellowships. And now they are certificate proven interventional cardiologists, and I'm very happy to to have some kind of impact in their career. So that's what I want to say. So let me. The next one is this is the okay. So actually, I'm mainly a CTO operator. I have done more than 500 cases, only CTO cases last year. And this year I'm around 250 CTO cases. And my mainly interest domain is complex PCI. But these are the only CTO cases I've done last year. And with the total, I think, about 600 to 700 complex PCI plus CTO cases I am doing every year. So, so these are my credentials, actually. And we had a APT Medical in 2024 had their launching, their debut, their inauguration with their wires. They get the MDR certificate. And 2024, they get registered around Europe. And we made the debut with a live case in Turkey in the EuroCTO. Okay, the EuroCTO event was in Turkey in 2024. And we did a live case there, of course, with the APT products. And these are the statistics with the APT products. It's around 250 cases. These are the statistics, but statistics are now around 450 cases. I have to renew the statistics. I get this from the distributor from Turkey, okay? And from this 450 cases, more than 250 cases were managed only with APT products. CTO cases only with APT products without the need of any other product from any other company, okay? So these are hospitals where we have used the APT products. So the cases, this is the summary of the cases. It's all type of cases. We did retrograde cases, not just simple cases, okay? Every case, every CTO case operator can encounter was managed with these products, and the retrograde was about 20%. 92% of the cases, we were able to finish with only APT product. In 8% of the cases, we needed only a puncture wire. Only a puncture wire, it was a Hornet or Confianza. But now, Penk has brought us a puncture wire as well. I think and hope that we will no need for any puncture wire anymore because he has Bingo Rich 12 gram. It's a new wire from APT, is a puncture wire. But the reason why we couldn't use it in our live case in Istanbul was it was not registered. You know, if the wire is not registered, you cannot use it in a live case in Europe or somewhere else. They have this, for me, this stupid regulations. Okay, so, but it is what it is. So, and these are the 272 cases. As I said, we are standing now about 450 cases. I have to renew, ask the distributor to renew all the statistics according to the new number. But this was just 5 or 6 months ago. So this is the JCTO score. These are not easy cases. About 60% of the cases are either JCTO2 or JCTO3. So we have also around 20% with JCTO4. So these are complex. This was the EuroCTO live case. And here, I'm using the Enrich 0.3 gram as the retrograde. Normally, this wire was invented because otherwise other wires caused perforation. For example, 1 gram C and P caused some kind of perforation. And then they thought of, we should go with a more floppy wire. They invented 0.3, and then we discovered actually this was a retrograde wire. It is not like SUO, it's different than SUO 03. It's not a replacement of SUO. In some cases, it's better than SUO. In some cases, Enrich is better than SUO. And in some cases, SUO is better than Enrich. It depends on the lesion complexity. It depends on the you know, support abilities. They are completing each other. So, but 90% of my retrograde cases, I'm able to cross with Enrich 0.3. We have 0.3 gram P and we have 0.3 gram C, polymer jacketed and the non-polymer jacketed one. So we cross the septals here. You see how the wire is crossing easily. And then here we went with the microcatheter. The microcatheter, the Elong 2.6 microcatheter, for me, and I have getting feedback from my European colleagues as well, they are not saying it out loud, okay? It's better than Corsair Pro. So they are saying it to me secretly. They are not outspoken like me, okay? So because I found something good, and I don't have any restriction to say it out loud, okay? So this is for me the best microcatheter on the market in terms of coiling, Elong 2.6 French. Yeah, it has different features than Corsair Pro, than the Asahi product. So in this case, we had to, with the wires, we have we have 1.5 gram, we have 3 gram, 4 gram, and 6 gram. And now we have the bingo reach for puncturing. Here at that time in the live case, I didn't have any puncture wire. I had to use Hornet, but all the other steps were done with Enrich 6 gram, with Enrich 0.3 gram, APT microcatheter Elong 2.6, and then we punctured into the aorta. It was a difficult case. It was unsuccessful 2 times before. They were not managed to go into the aorta. Here we punctured with Hornet into the aorta, and then let's go. Okay, here so I wanted to play, yeah. So, and then we snared it. We snared it from the aorta, and here is the end result. Can you play it, please? So, yeah, go back. No, back, please. Back. So, can you play this? This is the case. This is the end result of the case. Yeah, please play it. Yeah, it's playing. So it was a risky case. So we had only 1 shot, 1 bullet, 1 shot, and 1 aim. Okay. So it was a risky case for having it in a live case, because you have only your retrograde option. You cannot sit into the ostium of the RCA, because it was an ostial RCA CTO. So we couldn't see the ostium very well. And actually the CT didn't give much information. The problem is you have to sit in the coronary before you do some antegrade work, but we were not able to sit into the coronary because it was flush ostial occlusion. So we were lucky. We were happy to end up with this kind of result in a EuroCTO live case. So, and I should go next one, please. This one? No, go back. Yeah, so actually, this is the algorithm. It's not magic, okay? It's the discipline that the operator will, it's the discipline, it's the stamina, it's the dedication, and the algorithm is always the same. Here, I'm just playing with the wires and with the microcatheters. There is no difference from what I am doing comparing with the other operators around the world, okay? We have antegrade wiring. We begin with single wire, okay? It's for me nowadays, if I'm using the single wire, if I'm trying to find a micro channel, it's Enrich 1 gram P and C. Sometimes I play around for 2 or 3 minutes, a little bit, okay? If this doesn't work, then I go with 1.5 gram, okay? And then I go with 3, 4, and 6 gram, okay? So then I do antegrade wire escalation, then parallel wiring. APT has the Elong dual lumen, okay? It's a little bit tricky and different to use. You have to be accustomed to its use. It's low profile. Because it's low profile, it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. The advantages is you can cross easily, but you need support. You should not take out the extension wire before you go with your dual lumen into the lesion. If you keep your extension wire inside the over the wire hub, then you can cross everywhere any lesion with that dual lumen. Okay, so if you haven't used that, we will use it, I think, today or tomorrow in our cases, and then I will show you the tricks how you use it. It's versatile, easy to use, and it has also an extension wire coming out of the microcatheter for free. Okay, normally the extension wire is $100. If you keep it from Asahi, it's $100, but it's coming out from the microcatheter for free. It's coming out from every microcatheter, from along 2.6, from along 1.7, from along 1.9. Then you have an extra extension wire. Okay, you can keep it, you can reuse it. Okay, it's also very useful in that sense. So if we have an ambiguous cap, if it's no, then we go this way. If we have an ambiguous cap, then comes the question whether we have interventional collaterals or not. If we don't have them, we go with ADR, and if we have them, we go with retrograde. So this is how we are actually going. So this is, and when I work with Harbanu and Ali, for me, the safety is always the first, the patient safety. We have to prepare, we have to give some time for the preparation and not hurry and rush into the case. Okay, we should fast, but we should not hurry. Okay, we should fast, we should not lose time in some simple steps, but we should give enough time to have a secure environment to work on. For example, donor artery always need a wire. Okay, if you engage the donor artery before your dual injection is always a must in CTO. If someone is not doing dual injection in a CTO, then he is not doing it properly, and he should not do CTOs. Okay, dual injection is always the must in modern CTO PCI. Okay, in the contemporary CTO PCI. There are some exceptions, but this is another story. I am talking about the way it should be done in the general manner, okay? In the safest and general manner, in the most accepted way, okay? We have some kind of different approaches, but these are just for very, very expert, you know, CTO operators, and they're mastering it, and they're trying it, and they're trying new things, but it's not for everyone. Okay, I'm talking about the general terms for CTO PCI. So with the donor artery, you have to keep the donor artery guiding catheter there in stability. If it's moving too much, you can cause dissection. If it goes out of the coronary, then you give too much contrast, okay? And then you have to sit again, and maybe the catheter will get a little bit more smooth, and then you cannot engage there. And if you do a radial, then the patient will have spasm, okay? And then you have to puncture the femoral, a lot of, it's just one wire, okay? If you don't afford one wire, and if you want to go cheap, you should not do it, okay? If you cannot afford one wire in the donor artery, you should not begin from the beginning. So this is CTO PCI is, sorry, but it's expensive. So what we are trying to do with APT is having the same results with a 30 to 40% cheaper cost. And I am very happy to see that it works really. So what I'm using in a donor artery is the 0.3 gram C usually, because it has moderate support features. The wire has moderate support, and I talked with the engineers and said it should not have a moderate support, it should be floppy support. And the 0.6, the workhorse wire, should have moderate or extra support, but they're doing it like this. But in some certain cases, this has also its advantages. It's like life, okay? You have some feature that's advantages, and that feature can also be disadvantages. it depends on where to use. If you know where to use it and how to use it, it becomes your advantage actually. So that's what I am doing here. I'm using it for the donor artery guide support. And then, yeah, this was the case. I was lucky because my colleague worked on the coronary artery before. He failed, but because he failed, I successed. He worked on it, and I thought it's going to be a very difficult case. You know, we have this retrograde. I thought I should go retro, but first I have to puncture here. Can I go to the next slide? Okay, so here comes the beauty of 2.6 French microcatheter, Elong microcatheter. Different from the other microcatheters, if you use a robust microcatheter, you need support, okay? But this microcatheter, because of its different features, gives extra support as soon as you go into the artery, okay? If you torque it, the microcatheter, it will give the energy to the front. It's not, if it encounters resistance, it will give further support forward, not backwards, okay? Because the other microcatheters push the energy backwards, and then this energy will cause you losing your guiding catheter position. So there is no place to make some anchor here. We cannot anchor. There is no place to anchor. I just give my chance, and with 6 gram, I was able to cross it very easily thanks to my colleague that tried before. Maybe he had done some kind of work there, some kind of investment or something, I don't know. I couldn't reach the angio of that procedure. And that patient lives in Banyuwangi. So this is the friend I will visit in 3 days. He is my patient and my friend. He is living there in Banyuwangi. And it was this case. And you can see the microcatheter, how it went in difficulty trying to go into the distal vessel, and how it went smoothly. You see the microcatheter, you see the backup, the guiding catheter backup. I'm trying and testing the microcatheter's limits. Normally, you need some anchoring here. You need some guide extension here, okay? But I'm trying to put the microcatheter on hard tests. This is one of the cases. I wanted to test it. And you see how the microcatheter finding its way, struggling and going smoothly into the distal vessels. You cannot do this with another microcatheter. I have used all the gadgets on the market, not once, not twice, maybe more than 100 times, okay? I have been proctoring for Asahi, I have been proctoring for Boston, I have proctored for a lot of different companies with different gadgets. I have used everything. I have used Teleflex, I have used all the microcatheters, but this one is unique. So this is the end result. So we managed with Elong 2.6 and with Enrich 6 gram P. Let me show you another example. Can we go to the next slide? So sometimes I have difficulty and go back a little bit. You see here, go the slide before. Slide before. The before. Yeah, this one. Please play it. No. Yeah, play it, please. So this was another CTO here. So we are doing single wire, and then we do integrated wire escalation. If it doesn't work, then we go to parallel wiring. And if it doesn't work, then we have to decide, do we have interventional collaterals? If we have interventional collaterals, then we go for retro. If we don't, then we should decide whether we do ADR or not. Okay, so this was the case here. And first I tried with Enrich 1 gram P. Normally, Enrich 1 gram C and P are designed as a workhorse wire. Okay, but you should not use it as a workhorse wire. They are dangerous. They are causing perforation. Okay, so the APT guys and the distributors introducing the wire as in workhorse wire, you should be very, very careful. Because it causes perforation, the main guy from APT, the main designer, the owner of the factory, Michael told me, okay, he told me we designed 0.3 because 1 gram causes perforation. And in my practice, I also experienced awful perforation. So you should be very careful when you're using 1 gram. So then I thought, if it causes perforation, that means it can be used as a CTO wire, why not? So then I tried it in different microchannels like Filter XT. Instead of replacing Filter XT, it worked. There were cases it's not working, there were cases it worked, okay. But if it's not working, it's okay. Then you have still the 1.5 polymer jacketed wire. And here I probed, and then I escalated to 6 gram. Sometimes when I work with 1 gram or 1.5, I escalate to 6 gram. And sometimes I escalate to 3 gram. It depends on how I feel. You know, if I see some calcification, then I say, okay, I don't want to waste one more wire. So why not go just with 6 gram? So this is the 6 gram. You see here, I am checking from retrogradely. I am on the pad, I am on the right pad, and I have my anchor there. If your guiding catheter is moving too much, begin with an anchor. Begin with the guide extend. If you don't do that, do you guys radial or femoral? Radial? Radial. Femoral or radial? Radial, okay. So I'm also a radial guy. My default approach is radial. I don't touch the groin when I am doing coronary, okay? So the problem is, if you don't have a good setup, okay, you know, you Asian are small, and we sometimes our population is also small. If you are working on a lady, okay, with a lot of spasm, and if you go into the coronary artery, you should fix it. You should fix it with an anchor. You should fix it with an extra support wire. You should fix it with something. And during the preparation to go for a procedure, and then you see your guiding catheter is not there anymore, and then you cannot go into the coronary again. It takes you 40 minutes, okay? And then you get frustrated and you haven't even begun your CTO procedure, okay? Then you fail, of course. After working 40 minutes, just to re-engage in the coronary artery is frustrating. It's pain for the patient. And sometimes you say, okay, I go to the femoral, and then you already are exhausted, okay? And sometimes it takes 3-4 hours, and you wasted already 1 hour on engaging. As soon as you engage, you have to fix your guiding catheter with the extra support wire. It's Enrich 0.3 gram moderate support for me nowadays, or I go with an anchor or with the guide extension. So it's one of the steps, main steps. And I go next. Next, please. Can someone help me with the next slide? Okay, this is the next slide. Okay, it's going too fast. Go back. Okay, so here I am pushing the wire. This is 6 gram. You can see how the wire will go into the distal lumen. So the 6 gram version has the H curve, and it has the straight one. And when they made the H curve, I talked to the big guy, the big boss, and they said to him, this is stupid. Why are you using this H curve? It has no sense. It has no meaning, and it has no role in a CTO PCI. So in the world, in the most leading CTO experts world, this has no way in CTO PCI. But then using it in different lesions, I understand that in some lesions, it's miraculous, okay? And nowadays, I use the Ash curve for skipping the side branches to puncture. And sometimes you have retroflex, engagement. You have to engage retroflexly into the CTO body. It works miraculously. And there is no wire doing this other than the H curve 6 gram. They have the H curve 3 gram, 6 gram, 1.5 gram. So I'm learning the capabilities of these wires. This is a new concept. The algorithm is the same, okay? But you know the limits of the wires and where to use it. You know where to use filter XT. You know where to use Gaia, okay? You know where to use Hornet or something like that. I don't use any Gaia anymore. I'm just going with the polymer jacketed wires. It's feasible, it's cheap, and it's safe. Because if you use a polymer jacketed wire, it is not going outside the vessel. Okay. If you use Gaia, you can go outside the vessel very easily. And with polymer jacketed wires, even with 6 gram, it's safe. You are not going outside the vessel. And in MLCTO, Bill Lombardi said that we don't need Gaia, we don't need filtered XT. Why are we hassling with so much wires? Polymer jacketed wires are safe. Bill Lombardi, you know, the father of the CTO, you know, and he said that only polymer jacketed wires are enough to doing CTO, and I agree with him. And I'm embarking some work effort on this journey with the polymer jacketed wires, and it really works. Just we have to work together and see where it's working what and something like that. So this is the end result. So I will go fast, okay? I know you guys are bored. So, and there is the you know, the story with the drag-coated balloon. I'm trying to finish my CTOs nowadays with only drag-coated balloons. And I'm collecting the results. I don't want to comment on it. It's not our topic. And this was the same patient with another here. And I had to puncture first and then knuckle down. Let me just go. So Ali, for how long I have been talking now? So I don't want to exceed my 20? 30 minutes. I'm talking for 30 minutes. So this is I am a big mouth. So okay, so I go a little bit. So with 1 gram P, you can knuckle. With 1.5, you can knuckle, okay? So you can also use them as knuckle wires. So this is the end result after drag-coated balloon. Okay, so we are in the algorithm again. If we fail with wire escalation and parallel wiring, it takes us about 15 minutes, okay? Single wire, integrate wire escalation, and then we will try for parallel wiring, and it should be around 30 minutes, the whole procedure when we begin, okay? Then when we fail, then we should think what we're gonna do, okay? And a CTO should not be tried. It should be done. It's also from Bill Lombardi. If you say, just stick with 1 or 2 wires, okay, this is not a way, okay? This is not a way, you should not do it. You should prepare first. And you should have this algorithm. You should at least know, in addition to integrated wire escalation, in addition to parallel wiring, you should know at least one of these techniques, ADR or retrograde, okay? So my preference is always going for retrograde as the second technique if I fail with my integrate wiring. So, and if I fail with retrograde, then my last option is ADR, and the ADR option is a nasty one. Okay, so you can close side branches, and if you are to a star, and if you are not a dedicated Stingray operator, then as I said, you can close, and your chance is 50%. It's luck. It's just like flipping a coin, okay, and then waiting for the one side you wish to come, okay? So it's like flipping a coin. And with Stingray even, okay, the success rate is about 75%. And nowadays, the CTO PCI success rate is around above 90%, thanks to the retrograde techniques. So retrograde is essential. If you want to complete your armamentarium in CTO PCI, you should know how to handle retrograde to reach a level that is acceptable above 90%. So this was really a very, very interesting case here. I want to share with you guys. So this was an LAD CTO, okay? And this patient was symptomatic, okay? They sent this patient to surgery, and the surgeon said, I am not seeing any LAD. Where is the LAD? Where should I put my graft on? And they even took a CT. They tried to figure out with the CT where the LAD is. And even on the CT, the LAD was not visible. But on MRI, the patient had viable tissue and a normal ejection fraction with stable angina pectoris despite medical treatment. Okay. They said, okay, it's undoable. Somehow, the patient came to me, and I was a little bit lucky in this case as well. You see the stump here. The stump is here, as you can see. Here is the stump, and it's a side branch there. It's a blunt stump. So what I did was, okay, I'm waiting for the next slide. It will come. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. I needed to puncture to go inside the CTO body first. And now Pink will give me Bingo Rich, 12 gram, and I will do that from now on with Bingo Rich 12 gram because the APT doesn't have the puncture wire. I used Confianza just to puncture inside the CTO lesion to be in the architecture. And then this is a 3 gram P, enriched 3 gram P. I de-escalated to a polymer jacketed wire, and I understood that my wire went into the septal, but it went, I guess, from extra plaque, intraplaque into subintimal space. So I really here needed a knuckle, because if you do a knuckle, the knuckle will not betray you because it will follow the vessel architecture. You cannot go outside the vessel with a knuckle. It's impossible, okay? Because you use polymer jacketed wires. And here, this is what we have done. This is 2.6 along 130. Please begin with that one there. Can you, yeah, if you, yeah, so it's loading very, very slow. Okay. So, and it was a 3 gram, and then I knuckled the wire and it went into the diagonal here. This is the knuckle, you see, it was a 3 gram. It goes into the diagonal. I followed with the microcatheter. So here, we start in the system again. Yeah, but the guys are already bored, so I'm trying to finish. Are you bored, Toding? Yeah.
When you knuckle, are you sure it's intraluminal? Are you sure? Because I ever do knuckle, and I did HDR. It's out of threshold.
So HDR is a new technique defined by Mauro Carlino. Yeah. And you do contrast injection intraplaque. Yeah. And with Carlino, you do contrast injection extraplaque. And I knuckle for 2 reasons. First, to prepare the lesion for retrograde, okay? Or like in this case, if I don't have any other option, okay? So otherwise, I am not knuckling. Knuckling is to find, with a knuckle, you cannot go outside the vessel. It's not possible. You can go outside the vessel in the distal part. And the only wire that is doing that is a gladius MG. Other than that, normally, if you knuckle very distal, okay, you may land in the ventricle, right ventricle or left ventricle. Sometimes it causes perforation, but not big perforation if you don't use the gladius MG. Polymer jacketed wires are thus safe, okay? And knuckling is only to find the course of the artery. For example, you have to make progress. You don't know the course of the artery. Like here, I don't know where the artery is. You know, here, you see, here I changed for a filter XT. And with filter XT, my intention was to find the distal true lumen. And you can feel the jump when it goes into the true lumen, like here. Okay, so here. And if you do this too much, if you still push, then you have perforation. But in the first jump, you should stop. If you feel the jump, you should stop. And because we don't have any retrograde feeling from anywhere, I made the detection. But first, I have to be sure that blood is coming. Even if you are in the extra plaque, something blood is coming. And if you even put it on a pressure, you can see coronary artery pressure. It can be false. You should be very careful and do the injection very slowly with a locked syringe, 2 cc locked syringe. And here I have my diagonal. So the thing is, there is another motto. You should not lose what you have already gained, okay? You should preserve your spot. So I put a wire there to protect at least the diagonal. So if I cannot go to the LAD, I don't know where the LAD is, okay? So at least I open the diagonal and then I say to the patient, okay, I did something. At least I have your side branch open, for example. So what I have done next is I put a safety wire, a workhorse wire into the diagonal. And then I went with a dual lumen. I need a dual lumen. So I don't want to go into that diagonal again. I want to be away of that diagonal to find another place to puncture, okay? So this was Gaia. I was trying to find some resistance. And with Gaia, if you can go outside the vessel, okay? And I was not sure where to puncture, because if you puncture, you can go outside and you have to feel. So I tried here, but I lost my position. Then I switched to 3 gram here. This is enrich. This is dual lumen. My wire is in the diagonal. This is dual lumen, a long dual lumen, and this is 3 gram. I tried to puncture, and then I saw that my wire of the tip of the wire get knuckled. Okay, I said something is going on here. Okay, here. And then I drilled a little bit, and the wire, you see here, I was very lucky. I am in the extra plaque. At least I am in the architecture. This is a polymer jacketed wire. It cannot go anywhere else. It should be in the septal, but it is in a vessel. Somehow it's in the vessel. It's not outside. And here, the wire is free. The enriched 3 gram is free. And then I did the same thing because I have to test whether I am in the lumen or not. And here I did the tip injection. This is the LAD. And this is the LAD afterwards. I was very lucky and I was very happy. And ADR walked here. Okay. So ADR, I had to do ADR because I had no option. So, and with everyone is asking me about the stingray. Okay. Stay away from stingray. Tell me my reason. First, it has a learning curve. And if you put too much too much energy on the learning curve of the stingray, then you will not develop your retrograde skills. And I have seen very, very big operators failing twice, thrice in a live case with Stingray, okay? And they didn't want to go to retro because they put so much learning on the Stingray. They keep insisting on successing with that, but the only most experienced operator success rate is 80%, okay? We need more than 90% success rate, and the only way to do is going retrograde and sharp hone your retrograde skills. That's the only way. So there are exceptions, but it is not the topic of our talk here. We have Fujita. He is doing some crazy things. I will meet him in 2-3 days. So he is teaching and trying to define another concept of CTO, okay? But this is another thing, okay? It's very difficult to learn, okay? And he's doing amazing work. He's putting another technique into the CTO field, and it seems it's working in his hands. It is working in his hands, okay? In his mindset. But these techniques have been proven for 15 years with different studies and with different operators. We are trying to find a reproducible way to do CTO. It should not be that much different in my hand, in your hand, okay? So, and because the caseload is very small, if you put your energy in techniques that are not well defined and it works only in some hands, then you waste your energy in the very small amount of patients you already have. So you have to do the algorithm again and again, okay? You should do a lot of cases and you should do the techniques again and again. The more you do the techniques, the better you become, okay? And if you put all your energy in a very expensive Stingray technique, okay, then you will not go fast and you will not improve, okay? This is the global consensus, what we are talking about. We go integrate wiring, we do parallel wiring. If it's not working, then we think of knuckling or we go retro. So this is the thing. What Fujita is doing, he's doing amazing work, and I think he will change the concept of CTO in the future. But a CTO operator should first learn these steps here. These are the important steps. And the HDR and the Carlino, for me, it's kind of a loser thing, you know. It's kind of a thing, it's kind of, you know, it's, let's try this thing, okay? So it's also not proven. Carlino is Mauro Carlino is doing that, and he's saying that my success rate is about 80%, okay? So the published 80%, but we need a success rate which is about 90. And to reaching that, you need to study. You need to study doing this technique again and again. And if you master that technique, if you are good, then you can do fantasy, okay? You can imagine and do some crazy things. Okay, I will do this, I will do that. But first, when we are teaching and when we are learning, we should do the safest and most efficient and most reproducible way. Sometimes some operators, because they are lazy, this needs really hard work. And then they see Pier Francesco Agostino doing one guiding catheter CTO, okay, and then he is not putting another guiding catheter, and he's saying it's a minimalistic approach or something like blah, 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 okay. So guys, it's not working, okay? So I am the one who is doing more than 500 CTO cases a year, okay? And Pierre Francesco is doing 50 cases. I am doing 500 cases, okay? It looks good on paper, okay? It looks good on paper, but on the field, on the battlefield, it's different, okay? We have to protect the safety of the patient. I don't want to lose my patient because of stupid. If you do single puncture access, okay, you go with your wire somewhere, and how do you know where your wire is going? You should know the distal part of the vessel, if you're in true lumen or not. Oh, I'm feeling good. How do you feel good? What kind of sensations do you have? Okay, so you feel good, but I don't feel good. Okay, so I have to see. If you cause a perforation, if I go with my microcatheter over that wire and think that I am in the true lumen, if not, what's happened to the patient? And you are only doing 50 cases a year, okay? So this is not the way to go. It looks good on publication. And sometimes I know I have the same feeling, okay? When I began with my CTO journey, okay, let's not make this complex. Just go with one single access. If I need another access, I will do the other access, okay? Let's just try first. This is not the way to go. So I have seen all the complication that Prilakis has written on his book, okay? And when I'm teaching, you guys should not go my path. This is what is it about. So why are we then talking so much and trying to teach, trying to collaborate, trying to progress? Okay, it's wasting time. It's not good for the patient. I don't want to lose any patient on the table. So if you are outside with your wire, if you follow with your microcatheter, it's catastrophe. And then you have panic, okay? On real world, it's not like presenting something, okay? If you are in the cath lab, everything is different. The patient is beginning to move, you have blood pressure drop, then you get panic, okay? There is a panic button, and then you are beginning to shouting, and then you are fucked up, man, okay? So step by step, easy, safest way is to prepare, okay? Okay, doc, let me see what kind of wiring I am doing, okay? I am doing like this. You are doing shit, okay? So this is ignorance. So I'm not inventing this. I am relating to you more than 500,000 cases done from different experts around the world, okay? When I see a C2 operator operating on a patient, I can see on which level he is. Okay, so okay, he is in this level. Okay, he's in that level. Okay, so there is no need to risk something. Do you agree with me? So I get very depressed when a patient dies. I don't push too much anymore. And I know where to stop. It's very important. So in this case, I was really lucky. This was luck. So my wire helped me, and I was a little, and as an operator, you should always be humble, okay? If you are not humble, then there is no room to grow for you. If you think that you know everything, okay, then there is no room for you to grow, to learn, to go, okay? I'm still learning. I will meet Fujita and I will tell him, teach me how you do this, okay, for example. But this is step by step, you know? So Stingray, for example, sometimes I'm having a fantasy about learning Stingray, okay? So, but then it's wasting time, it's wasting money, okay? I have other things to do. I'm teaching, I'm doing a lot of cases. I am the one doing, maybe around the world, I'm the #1 operator with the most cases around the world, okay? More than 500 in a year, after Mohammed Aib. So this wasting embarking my time on collaborating, teaching. And by the way, I am also learning from you guys. The more I interact, the more I learn. There are some things, everyone is doing the same stupid mistakes, then I get angry, okay? But when I learn a mistake that is unique, that I haven't seen anywhere else, okay, I have learned something. So let's see what we are going to learn today and tomorrow. Okay.
So you expect us to make mistakes?
I am doing mistakes. Everyone is doing mistakes. So let's see. Don't be afraid of doing mistakes, but the exception is the patient should be on the safe side by doing that. So this is the algorithm. I am changing only the wires, okay? We are playing with the wires and with the microcatheters, and we have the best microcatheters. Maybe not the best wires, but they are working. They are cheap, they are good, they are safe because they are polymer jacketed wires, but the microcatheters are the best. And the guide extension, the Expressman for me is also one of the best. So if I fail fast, I go retrograde. So my second technique is always retrograde. And ADR is my loser thing, okay? Then if I'm thinking of doing an ADR, then I am the loser of the case. And I think HDR, no, let's try to knuckle. That it's too hard, I cannot knuckle. Then maybe I can do HDR and try to find some way because it's too calcified. And when I do HDR, then that means I'm hopeless. I'm using my last chances to create something somewhere to see, to go. So this was a live case again to Cairo CTO from Birini. This case was tried twice. They failed. You see the extra plug space here. My only way here is going retro because they landed always in the same space again and again and again. And I am not a magical operator, okay? So what can I achieve different from the guys that they have tried already twice here, okay? So we are not better than each other. We are more experienced than each other. Not better, not clever, not skilled, okay? Skills comes with working, okay? So they failed twice here by doing it antegrately. And the safest way here is going retrograde, okay? So this was a live case to Cairo CTO. And here comes can we play it, please? It's coming. This is the 3 gram, the 0.3 gram. So we have the C version and the P version, and each 0.3. The P version I use for epicardial collaterals, usually, okay? And the C version, the polymer jacketed one has not polymer facility on the tip. It has the polymer jacket on the sleeve, okay? And the proximal part is still hydrophilic, but non-polymeric. And I use it in epicardial collaterals when it's P. And C, I use it for septals here. This was a septal. I crossed retrogradely. And here comes the along 2.6. I'm pressing on the button and then waiting whether it's changing or not. Now it's changing. And then I have to wait that the presentation will load. And here, I tried, so I went retro, but I couldn't connect true to true. I tried first again with polymer jacket. That means I have to prepare antegrately. Normally I prepare antegrately, but because they tried twice and there was big dissections, I thought the antegrade work has already been done from someone else. But here, I'm knuckling with 0.6 gram here, you can see on the left screen. And then I do reverse cart. And after reverse cart, This is enriched 3 gram P, and I went into the guiding catheter retrogradely. And then here is the tip-in maneuver. After tip-in, I finished with track-coated balloon, and that's the control angiography. Okay, so I will make this my last case. So I feel that you are tired and you know, bored because, so can I, no, this one here, okay. So this was sometimes the guiding, if you are doing radial, the guiding catheter is not going. It's an alarming sign. We have to know what the problem is. You can see we have a loop there, okay? And this is a remnant artery there. I have already dissected it. And then what we have done here is we crossed the loop with enrich 0. Yeah, the other one, please. The left, the right screen, the right one. Yeah, that one. Please play it. Yeah, you can see this is enrich 0.3 gram. We crossed the loop. And then we did balloon-assisted tracking, but balloon-assisted tracking on the right route. If you are doing it on the remnant artery, it will not go. It will dissect and rupture your tiny arteries. You have, if your guiding catheter is not going, you have to check with a contrast injection and lay out your route here. So we straightened the route, and we have an ambiguous course. And this is the stent here. The bypass patients are difficult cases. They are risky patients. And all the patients I have lost after a C-tube PCI are patients with CABG. Okay. So this, because you have dry tamponade, if you have a perforation, and dry tamponade you cannot treat. So there are only exceptions in the literature how to treat with CT guided puncture or something like that, but it's impossible. So this is the stent here going somewhere. Is it side branch? Is it the right ventricular branch? I'm not sure. I have only these retrograde connections here. So this was a case from my presentation in Turin CTO. And you can see the septals. And this one, is this the RCA? I'm not sure. Actually, this is the graft. You see the stent here. This is the stent connecting into the distal vessel, but this is actually the graft. It's not the RCA route. I don't know where the RCA route is. So the only shot I have is puncturing, is knuckling from above. So let's see how we have done it. Okay, so I went into the stent with 2.6 French microcatheter, and then I have that 6 gram. 6 gram Ash curve P is one of the most efficient knuckling wires in hopeless cases. If you have a calcification, very hard calcification, it helped me a lot in different proctorship cases in India, in Saudi Arabia. So I had one piece in my back, and Gladius MG couldn't knuckle because the body is strong. It keeps going down the architecture, and then you see where the architecture is. It helped me a lot in knuckling. So like in this case here, so I need to skip this side branch when I want to knuckle. First, I have to puncture. If it's an Ash curve, I puncture towards the outside of the vessel with an H curve, and then I knuckle down. And I needed the power knuckle here. I pin the microcatheter with a balloon inside the stent, and then you cannot see the body of the wire. It's a little bit invisible. You can see only the proximal part of it, but the body is here. The body of the wire is here, okay? And I I coil my micro here into towards the wire, and I know I am in the vessel architecture because it's a polymer jacketed wire. Even if it's 6 gram, it's not going outside the vessel if you are not in the distal vessel architecture. And you have a strong knuckle wire with this one here. So my microcatheter is going there. And then I give contrast, and you see, actually, the stented part is the graft. They stented from the graft toward the bifurcation, okay? So still, there is ambiguity there, and I knuckled further to see, to reach, go beyond that bifurcation here. Here you can see, here I'm trying to knuckle. Okay. So here I am, this is 6 gram again, a new 6 gram because the other one was destroyed. Here I'm trying to knuckle. You see how the knuckle is forming and going beyond the bifurcation. I have to go beyond the bifurcation to see my pad. Here you see, and I knuckled from here like here. And then after that, now it's time to go retro. I always prepare antegrade first, even if I want to go retro, because we have to limit the time that we are using in retrograde. The longer you keep your microcatheter in the retrograde space, the more you have the risk of complication. The patient of crashing down, the collaterals not working anymore so good, and your blood pressure will go down. So you have to limit your time in the retrograde. So that's the reason why I always prepare antegrade first. If there are, of course, some exceptions, sometimes I don't know where to puncture antegradely and to prepare, then I go direct retrogradely. But here, I prepared first. So my microcatheter is here. And then I have done the antegrade part. And now the first septal has no connection. I have done contrast injection. And even if you don't see any connection with microinjection, there is no loss of time trying with surfing first. Sometimes if you can't see a connection, it doesn't mean it's not connecting. And here it was the case, even if there was no connection, visible connection, we tried surf here with the enrich 0.3 grams C. Here you will see how the wire is coming and then going into somewhere, I don't know where. I had to check with retrograde here. And you can see that my wire went into the PL. Here I'm in the PL retrogradely. And here comes, and then the 3 gram, 0.3 gram C, I diverted towards the RCA, as you can see here. And then the along 2.6 French is following here. You see, now I have my microcatheter antegrade here, retrograde here. And now it's time to connect somewhere inside the CTO body. And then first the other one, please. The left, yeah, that one here. So I have an expressman here. So I want to connect inside the CTO body. I don't want to lose any branches. So I don't want to go further proximal because I have already some branches there. I don't want to go subintimal somewhere else. I just want to limit the dissection plane. So then with enrich 6 gram P, I was able to go into that expressman here. And then I did a tip in to another along 2.6. Here, my microcatheter is here. And then with this wire, I tipped into this 2.6. Sometimes your retrograde microcatheter is not going. If your wire is free, you do tip in. And then if you do strain the the collateral is too much, then you have some kind of hemodynamic problems. I want to go as smooth as possible, as smooth as possible. So I did a tip in here, and then let me show you the, and here we have the, yeah, please. And then I bring down the anti-micro catheter. And here I take out my 6 gram out and then change it with the workhorse wire. So enrich 3 gram is in the distal vessel. I use the same. The beauty of the enrich wires is if you open some wire, you keep it on the table. The technician should put the wire into the sleeve again, okay? Because we will use it again and again and again. I crossed the 0.3, the retrograde collateral, but now I am using it as a worker's wire to put my balloon and stand over it, okay? I use it again. And they are not as much fragile as the other company wires, okay? If you use SUO 303, it's very fragile, it's gone. But if you use 0.3, you can use it still again and again and again. It's the same with 6 gram. I do parallel wiring with 3 gram, 6 gram. If I fail, I go retro. Then I use the same 6 gram for going retro. It still works because the wire is nitinol wire. And the nitinol wire is difficult to destroy. And here I'm in the true lumen. And what I have done here is, I will show you the last picture. So then what I have done is I use the microcatheter for giving micro contrast. I don't want to give antegrade contrast and not enlarging the dissected part and then destroy the distal vessel. And then with this landmark giving contrast retrogradely, I put my stents, and this is the end result, what we got here. So I think I have given you examples of dual lumen, expressman, and about all the wires. I have still presentations and cases, but I think it's enough now. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for.
So if you have any questions, of course, we can talk.
Okay, so thank you. What a thorough presentation. So I think we will have some time for us to have some little discussion, probably 2 questions from the floor. Okay, Dr. Yamin, please.
I enjoyed the presentation, full range of variety of cases. I wonder why I didn't see you use the imaging guided puncture for the CTO, like what the Japanese operators usually do. Thank you.
So, as I said before, there are the Japanese, they are doing and trying to go always from throat to through. They don't like dissecting. They don't like going extra plaque. All they want to do is trying to open it from that. But it changed lately, okay, with Fujita and Nakamura, and they are trying now different things. But as a rule, the Japanese operator have a very boring way, okay? So it takes 4, 5, 6 hours because they don't want to knuckle, okay? And they are experts in IWUS. And IWUS guidance, everyone is talking about IWUS and IWUS guided puncture and IWUS guided, CTO are doing. There are only few operators in the world. They are masters in it, okay? And it has a long learning curve. What I am trying to do is I am showing the younger generation, because we have all limited cases. We want to be excel in one technique by doing it again and again and again, okay? If you try to do one case with IWUS, if you try to do one case with TD-ADR, if you try to do one case with Stingray, if you try to do one case with retrograde, if you you go nowhere. You should learn the most possible technique. You should do it again and again and again. And then if you want to add something on it, it's up to you. But first you have to reach the success rate above 90%. And this is the way, the algorithm is the only way to go above 90%. And in Europe, there are only 2 or 3. Everyone is using IWUS, okay? I am also using IWUS. But I don't know IWUS as the Japanese are doing it, okay? But I am faster than the Japanese. So there are always the advantages and disadvantages. There are some cases I wish, okay, I wish I need IWUS here. And I don't know, I fail. But the Japanese also fail, okay? So it's up to you, what do you want to learn? So the global algorithm teaches you to go beyond the 90% success rate. What you need is patient, patient, patient. What you need is working 2, 3, 4 hours. What you need is your health, okay? It's already too much effort there, okay? You should use your own environment, what you have, what you can get, and what you can learn fast, okay? So it was not possible for me. And with IWUS guided puncture, it's not a magic. In some kind it is, but I'm using IWUS. For example, there are cases I'm doing the CTO, I want to see how large the vessel is, okay? I use it. But not like fancy techniques like Fujitio or IWUS guided puncture. For example, Werner is one of the pioneers in IWUS. And they try to do everything with IWUS and anti-greatly, but their success rate is still around 80% with that technique. We need retrograde. I know why everyone is refraining from retrograde. I understand it. It's very difficult. It's very demanding. It's risky, but it's the only way you can excel in your CTO PCI technique and practice. Fujita has a new technique now. He is dissecting, putting an IWUS in the false lumen and trying to puncture intraluminally, okay? So if this technique is reproducible, if this technique is teachable, if this technique has gained popularity around the world, this is a solution for a minimalistic approach. This is a solution to decrease the risk. But if you excel in this technique, okay, my guess is the success rate will again around 80 to 90%, because then you will lose your retrograde skills and no one will invest time on retrograde anymore. And the success rate will still be 90%. But then we have a safe technique, minimalistic approach, and then maybe we can say, okay, do it because you don't need retrograde, but the success rate will be at the same level. So I want to learn that. It will give me, you know, it's like becoming Ronaldo or Messi, okay? So, but it's for me, not for you guys, okay? So, sorry, not in that manner. I mean, we have to learn the general thing, doing it again and again. And for me, even if I am doing the most of the case, I'm still afraid of losing my skills. If I skip to another skill, and if I put my time on that skill, I will lose my skills will go a little bit back then. You understand what I mean? So I'm doing this, and I think that I am the most useful way in this way, because I'm learning with you guys, and I see you progressing, and I see it's working. Now I have 5 guys in Turkey I have teach them how to do CTOs. They don't need me anymore. This is my goal. So they are doing their CTOs by themselves, and they are not applying for my help anymore. So this is, for me, the most important thing, I think. And I want one of you, two of you, three of you guys here as well in the same. So, and by doing it again and again, if we diverse our focus, then I think we will go not that much. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another applause for Gulu. So thanks a lot for sharing with us your algorithm, your philosophy, and most importantly, about patient safety.
It's not my algorithm. It's the global algorithm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not doing magic. So, there is no thing of, this is my way of doing CTO. There is no your way. Okay. Okay. There is a way of Fujita. Okay. There is a way of the Stingray skies. Okay. It's still in the algorithm, but it's in the corner of the algorithm. Okay. It's fancy. It's appealing. It's sexy. Okay. But you should not be tempted. The people who are tempted to this kind of techniques are because they want to avoid the hard work they should do first. Because this is hard work. Parallel wiring is hard work. Investing some time, using the proper gadgets, and then avoiding the patient that is waiting on the clinic for you, and you want to hurry, you want to do some things very fast. No. If you want to be a CT operator, no, you should dedicate your day or some 3-4 hours for that procedure. Okay. If you don't have that time, don't embark on this journey. That's the reason why not everyone becomes a CT operator. Everyone has the ability to become a CT operator, but the key is discipline and hard working. We are not better than each other. We are not clever than each other. We are all doctors. We are all colleagues, okay? But the way is to dedicate yourself. If you don't have the mindset and to focus on dedicate on a mission, you fail.
Thanks a lot. So you hear it loud and clear from Dr. Gulu, guys. Don't mix your clinics and procedure day. Okay, and so next, I believe we will have another 2 sessions. So we will have a product presentation from APT, so we can hear all the specs and details of everything that Prof. Gulu have said about the devices. And after that, we will have a discussion about the case that we will do today, this afternoon after Friday prayer. Okay, please. So probably Sinta or Jimmy? Yes, Jimmy.
Good morning, doctors. I am Jimmy from the marketing department, and I'm honorable to take a speech about the introduction of our Enrich guide wires. So can I have, thank you. So actually we have 2 series of wires for PTCA, like workhorse and the CTO indicated, like Doctor has already mentioned. And for our workhorse, I would like to highlight our safety, because for some cases, we may come across some stenosis and we need to pull out very hard. And we hope the tip should be safe enough and not able to leak anything inside the vessel. So our engineers try to make a new wires. We have the safe net here. It's the braiding mesh. This mesh makes sure the core is very, very strong, so it can avoid the fracture. In the meantime, we have the taper core of nitinol. So the tip is soft. You don't have to worry about perforation. And we have great curve retention. So it's durable. If you like to manipulate the wire to tortuosities, the tip will maintain very well. And we also try to avoid whipping, because we hope we can provide 1-by-1 talkability. So we have our core design and the safe net design. And since we had the safety net, we make sure our wires can endure more breaking force when you like to pull out very hard. So it's very difficult to fracture. And because we have coil wire users and polymer wire users, so our NHC is for the coil wire users. We have 3 tip loads from 0.6 for daily, and 1 is escalation of 0.6, and 0.03 can for some beginners can also do the retrograde. In the meantime, we have pre-shake curves in case, because we have the nitinol core, so it takes a little bit longer to shake the tip, but the curve retention is very great, so you don't have to worry about losing the shape. And we also have the polymer jacket wire. So if you are a polymer wire user, you can use our NHP. And it also have the pre-shake curves and 3 tip loads as well. And I know you guys are so confused because we have so many specifications and 2 series for workhorse. So we have some recommendations. And this recommendation is based from the experience of Dr. Gogulu and other cardiologists. And hopefully we can add more information about this application from the users in Indonesia. And for our 0.6, I think it's a daily PCI product. Sometimes you may use run slew, and I think it's also something can do similar with the run slew. And it's the first choice for the coil wire user. And for the CTO, sometimes you can also use this one for the side branch protection. And for the 1 gram, it have better support than the 0.06. So, but it have a little bit risk of perforation because it have higher tip loads. So it should be a little bit careful to use the 1 gram. And in the meantime, like Doctor said, it can also use for the CTO. For the 0.03, we recommend it for the septocollateral and even the epicardial. And for NHP, the 0.06 also for the daily PCI and for the polymer wire users, and the escalation as a 1 gram and with better supports. And the 0.03 is kind of unique. And we can see this is the polymer jacket wire. It's not full polymer. In the distal 3 centimeters, we have the coil outside. So we hope you can provide some tactile feedback. Make sure when you're going through the epicardial, you have a little bit tactile feedback, so less risk of perforation. But the polymer jacket, make sure you guys can make this wire to go through some very tortuosity. So I think it could be a choice after the C.03 failed, then you can try the P.03. And we also have the series of the CTO. We have 3 tip loads mostly, but like Doctor mentioned, we also have the 12, but it's not oftenly used. So we recommend these 3 tip loads. And it's a full polymer jacket wire, and the tip is also polymer outside, but the tip is not tapered, so it's a non-tapered wire. So it's more like using the drilling technique. And the reason we have this wire is that in the market, Pilot also is a good wires, but we hope we can have better penetration force wire. So we have our 6 gram. And our engineer have the nitinol core, make sure you have great curve retention, so you don't have to worry losing the shape for long hours. And like for the straight tip, for hours, 20 times pulling or sticking the wire into a occlusion, the tip may lose a little bit, while our competitors will lose a lot. But for the pre-shape, the curve after 20 times of testing is still well maintained. And we have 3 tip loads for the CTO. So for the 1.5 gram, you can use it for the trying of as a first wire for CTO, and because it have polymer jacket, so it can do the micro channel checking. And sometimes because you have a polymer jacket, so you can try this device to do the reverse wiring with a dual lumen microcaster. And for the 3 gram or 6 gram, if like doctor said, if it's not heavily calcified, you can try the 3 gram as escalation. But if there is calcification, you can choose the 6 gram. They can mostly do the antigrade wire escalation to drilling the proximal cat and traveling the CTO segment and drilling the distal cap. And for the reverse wire escalation, you can also drilling the distal cap with the microcaster to exchange the wire. And for the ADR, you can knuckle, so you can have a large knuckle to bypass the CTO in the subintimal. And there are also some doctors use it for the RDR. And that's the introduction of our wires. Now I would like to have a brief introduction of our PTCA balloon. We have 2 series, XC semi-compliant and non-compliant. The SC, we have the smallest one, one of the smallest, 1 millimeter for the CTO. So you guys can try it for the CTO. And for the NC balloons, we have unique design of the lollipop. Miss, could you play this video for me? Because sometimes we like to do the pulse dilatation in tortuous vessels. How about this one? Oh, sorry. Anyway, let me explain. If we go through the tortuous vessels, the taper tip may stuck here and collapse with the stent strut, so the balloon may not pass. But with our spherical tip, it's able to glide through very smoothly and decomposing the force. So it makes sure the post-dilatation rate is very successful, and you guys can try the model there later. You can show this performance. And that's my introduction about our balloons and wires. Thank you.
Thank you for APT Medical. But I think it's not complete without watching a video product from APT Medical. So here's the product video.
At Boston Scientific, we're committed to making medical education and training more relevant, more comprehensive, and more accessible for healthcare professionals. We asked healthcare professionals what they wanted in online clinical education and training. They said we need education and training that's convenient to access and easy to navigate, something that's personalized to our needs, something that's credible, trusted, and has up-to-date relevant training content. Introducing Boston Scientific's EduCare platform, a comprehensive suite of education and training programs that support healthcare professionals in the delivery of patient care worldwide. Our EduCare learning platform makes staying educated and connected easy. One source, one stop, one schedule, yours. You'll have instant online access to a broad source of on-demand content created in partnership with academicians, surgeons, and thought leaders willing to share their insights and experience. EduCare content is accessible from any desktop computer, laptop, or mobile device, all on your schedule. You'll also have access to a secure, highly personalized dashboard to track your clinical education journey with content relevant to you and your specific learning needs. Start your online learning journey today and register at educare.bostonscientific.com.
Okay, thank you for APT Medical. So we will proceed to the next agenda, a case review and discussion, where we will take a look closer at a selected real-life CTO cases by Dr. T.M. Haikal and Dr. Wisnu.
Okay, so this is the most important discussion. So this is about the case that we will have today. So we will look at the case and we will discuss about the strategy. Then we will execute it in the afternoon. So please, in total, we have 6 cases in 2 days. So today we will present 2 cases and the other 4, we will discuss it tomorrow morning. Okay, so please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. A little bit introduction from me. My name is Haikal. I am a general cardiologist here at Jakarta Heart Center. Aspiring to be interventional cardiologist, but still a long way for me to go. Probably when opportunity arises, I can learn directly under your supervision, Prof. Sefkat. Okay. Can I? Yes, we have two cases. The first case is Mr. AW, a 43 years old male with typical chest pain, with history of ST elevation, ACS, in January 2025. And we perform primary PCI in 1-dash LAD during that procedures. A little bit introduction, he is a diabetes patient. Okay. He is diabetic and with a little bit impaired renal function, but his eGFR is still in 87. He is a former smoker. Okay, his echocardiography is pretty well with concentric left ventricle hypertrophy. His ejection fraction of left ventricle is 61%. He is currently in usual medication for patients with SDE-ACS with double antiplatelet, statin, ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, and diabetic oral medications. Okay, let's jump into the supportive examination. This is his ECG during his events of myocardial infarction in January.
Sorry, can we go back?
Oh, yes.
Again. So the patient is 43 years old.
Yes, 43 years old.
It's a male. Okay. And then previous myocardial infarction?
Previous myocardial infarction in
ST elevation or non-ST elevation?
ST elevation.
In which part? In RCA, LAD?
LAD.
LAD. Okay, it was treated primary PCI and the ejection fraction now is
61%.
Okay, so no harm on the ventricle so far. Okay, that's good. And the patient is symptomatic.
Symptomatic with TCS2.
Just two, and then we have hypertension.
Hypertension, former smoker, and diabetic.
Former smoker, how long it has been cessed the smoking? Still smoking or?
Oh, no smoking anymore.
For how long he's not smoking?
After primary PCI, about 6 months.
6 months. Okay. 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 No heart failure, no chronic lung disease, no diabetes, no oral antidiabetic, no insulin or something.
No insulin. Treated with metformin and phenylene.
Okay, and okay, yeah, I have seen. Okay, sorry, you can go on.
Okay,
thank you.
This is his ECG in January 2025, 6 months ago, with visible ST elevations and Q pathological wave, probably from those events. And then this is we prepared some JCTO sheet. We calculate that he is in total 0. This is RCA. And we can see that the total occlusion is in the mid part. I don't know, Dr. Wisnu, you would like to explain or should I?
Just continue. We can see the angio.
Okay. This is we can see a little bit collateral, but probably it will be better from the left coronary anterior part. This is from cranial view of the RCA. Not quite good to see the distal part. And this is from the distal part of the CTO. This is after we put the stent in January 2025. So this is after the flow of the coronary becomes decent.
So I think the first operator for this patient will be Dr. Todung. So probably Dr. Todung, can you please tell us about what will be your strategy in this patient?
Actually, it's a Harbanu patient.
Oh, Dr. Harbanu patient. Okay.
So
I think both of you will work together today, right? Okay. So either Dr. Todung or Dr. Harbanu can please. Probably you can tell us the strategy for today's PCI in this patient.
Okay, thank you. For this case, maybe we will do the dual injection and then we try to do the antegrade first and see whether we use the 2.6 or 1.7 micro catheter maybe. And then try with first we use the any-rich 3 grams or 1.5 grams. And then we see after that. And after we decided, after we do the dual injection.
Yeah, this is a good point. Harpano knows how to do it. So without dual injection, actually, we cannot lay out a plan. But here we can do it because we have also antegrade filling. Maybe there is some the conus branch, yeah, ipsilateral, collateral, something, and then I agree with Harbano. So, what do you think?
Yeah, in my opinion, mundur sebelumnya. Nah, sebelumnya. Yeah, in this picture, I think there's taper. There's only taper. So we first enter with elong microcatheter. After that, we try to introduce the wire there and push the microcatheter. If we succeed through the distal RCA, we can only use the antegrade.
So, Dr. Toduk, if you can pick any wire in the world right now, what will be your first choice?
No, because it's APT medical.
We
must use APT.
Let's forget about APT or anything like that. If you can choose any wire in the world, what will be your first choice in this case?
Usually here I use Fielder XT.
You will try Fielder XT first.
Yeah. Microcatheter, Elong, I use 1.7. And after that, I use the wire Fielder XT to find the micro channel there.
So
that's my opinion.
So this is a good discussion, Prof. Guru. Even though XT is only 0.6 gram, if I'm not mistaken, but it is tapered. What do you take on that? Will you take a tapered wire or not in this case?
So it has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. So it's tapered, it can go really into subintimal space because of that. And it's polymer jacketed at the sleeve as well. So so if I am not proctoring for Boston or for Asahi, in my CAT lab, this is just straightforward case for me, beginning with 1.5 gram enrich, as Harbano pointed it out. And then I would use my default microcatheter is 2.6 in every case. So it gives me better support, but 1.7, 1.9 is also okay. But my preference would be 2.6. And then I think we should have crossed this. What is the length? Is it around 20 or less 20?
Less than 20.
You think so? Okay.
We haven't done.
It's in the margin, I think. Okay, so it's around 20 millimeter in length, and then I agree. 1.5, 3 gram or 6 gram. We can manage it, and then if we not, then we have the parallel wiring option after wire escalation. I don't think we need a retrograde approach here, but we have to prepare. Okay, we have to prepare from the beginning with 2 guiding catheters and ABU in the left system and Amplatz 1 or right Judkins. It's up to you guys which one you want to use. Either way is okay. So I would have used the Judkins here. I don't want to dissect the proximal part because the proximal part is intact. You know, I don't want to mess with it. If I had a proximal CTO, then I would go with AL1 because sometimes the proximal dissection helps you to go forward. So, but here Judkins, right? And do I need any anchoring? You will decide for yourself if you go into the coronary, and then if you have enough support, then you can begin with that. And if you have some backing up of the guiding, you can still do anchor. And 2 guiding catheters. And engaging first in the left system and then putting in 0.3 or 0.6. My preference would be 0.3 into the left system and then go with another 0.6 with the microcatheter at the front of the CTO and then change whatever you want. So I agree with you all. So there is nothing wrong here.
1.5 first. We try
We can use 1.5 first year. I would have tried 1.5 first year. So, but we can also try the 1 gram. See, we go with 1 gram and bring our microcatheter down with the 1 gram. And then try to probe a little bit. If it's not working, then we change to 1.5. And then we escalate further. So we can use the 1 gram here as bringing the microcatheter down and also probing the channel here. It could be done.
So you mean for the first time we use the 1 gram instead of 0.6?
Yeah, go with 1 gram and then probe that CTO with 1 gram P if there's a P available. Because nowadays I am trying to use it also as a channel tracker, and sometimes it's working. 30% it's working, but when it's working, then it's good. Then you have 1 wire and then you tackle with 1 wire everything.
That's great. So I think later APT team can also explain to us about your microcatheter specification. So is the 2.6 is turnable? Turnable, yes, yeah. I think that's the feature that we should know. Yeah, yeah, workable. Very nice.
Could we use directly 1.5, for example?
I don't see the calcification. Maybe, yeah, one is enough, I think.
So there is no minimizing the wire in CTO. Okay, Ali, if you want to do it cheap, then you send the patient to the surgeon, okay? They do it for free. So a CTO wire should not be used to go in front of the CTO because if that one causes some kind of dissection and you may not be aware of it, so then you somehow harm your CTO wire. Before reaching the CTO, you can go into one of the branches and then cause some kind of perforation. So no, we go with safe with our workhorse wire. Because 1 gram is also a workhorse wire, that's the reason why I'm suggesting to go with 1 gram and then not too much, not destroying the microchannel, a little bit trying, and if it's not working, to go with 1.5. So.
And what do you think about the Lancer wire? Will it be your first choice in this kind of situation? Yes, so definitely the Lancer.
Always, if it's my patient, if it's my private patient, I use nothing other than APTs. It's my only way of doing CTO on complex PCI. So I don't use any Asahi or Boston wires.
So I mean, other than the usual Enrich P, will you just go straight to Lancer in this case? Lancer wire. I mean, there's a difference between Enrich P and the Lancer.
No, Lancer is the name for the CTO wires. 1.5 Lancer, 3 Lancer, 4 Lancer, 6 Lancer. Lancer is the name for the wires that are labeling the CTO feature of the wire. So Lancer are CTO wires.
Okay, so just so no more Enrich C or P, just go Lancer every time.
No, so you mean tackling this lesion?
Yes, in this case.
No. If you go with 1.5, it's a CTO wire. So I would go first with 1 gram to bring my microcatheter towards the CTO proximal cap. So we have to reserve our CTO capabilities for the CTO. So if something happens to the wire during this traveling, or this wire causes some problem along the way, it's not good. We should use floppy wires to carry the microcatheter to the proximal cap. I don't use, for example, Filter XT. Would you go with the Filter XT from the beginning in this case? No, it's the same. It's the same with Lancer 1.5. 1.5, 3, 4, 6, these are CTO wires, and you should use them after bringing down your microcatheter.
So to be more detailed, so in this case, that you will use the first probably Enrich P to bring down the microcatheter. Then will you try the P to cross the lesion? 1 gram. And if it fails, then you will move to Lancer. Yes, okay. So that's the plan from Prof. Gorgulu, and so we'll see how it will goes. And if it fails, you will do parallel wiring. Will you need a double micro for that?
So this is the question. We have 4-5 ways to do parallel wiring. Okay, you can keep your wire, take out your microcatheter, go down again, and then you can use 2 microcatheters. It's a little bit expensive. And then you can use the seesaw technique. And then you can do the dual lumen. And dual lumen is now the state of the art in parallel wiring. And it also increases the likelihood of success. And we have published it this year from the Progress C2 registry that using a dual lumen microcatheter increases the success of parallel wiring. So we have evidence for that. And I don't do any parallel wiring without dual lumen.
I see. Probably you, if you don't mind, do you mind to draw it here so people can understand the concept of parallel wiring and probably seesaw?
Yeah. This is our RCA, okay? We have a total occlusion here. So if you have your first wire, your microcatheter is here, okay? So your first wire, if the first wire goes subintimal, okay, you leave your wire here, okay? And then you can bring your microcatheter down into the subintimal space to block the subintimal space. And then you can use another microcatheter go down, but this is expensive, okay? It's not so much efficient and it's not done too much as state of the art. So what you can do is you can leave your wire here, take out your microcatheter and then go with the same microcatheter again and then try to puncture from a different path into the CTO body again and find your way like this. But what we are doing nowadays is we are taking out this microcatheter, this elong, and then we put a dual lumen, okay? And the dual lumen is here. And if you put your dual lumen close to the entry point of the wire that is in the subintimal plaque, then the other wire and this microcatheter will block this way and you will not enter with your second wire into this plane. Instead, it will come like this. And then you will try to puncture like this. And if you puncture like this and you go subintimal again, then you can take this first wire back and then try to puncture again here. This is seesaw. And if you cannot do that, and then you take this one out and then try to puncture again over the dual lumen. So this is the seesaw technique. And the seesaw helped me a lot in the past, and it's a very efficient technique, but always dual lumen for me. No question about it. And the other way around, trying to take your wire back and then trying to find the true lumen, you can do that. It's a way. But then I prefer to keep my wire in the extra plaque and then not taking it back and then trying to go into the right path, because the more I take out and try to puncture, the more I go into the same place, I increase the subintimal place and the risk of hematoma creating and going into the distal vessel. So I want to go as smooth as possible, and it's costly. Sorry. We need dual lumen. Ali, it's costly.
Do you have any tips on how to take?
You can do reuse. if you want. So you can make the along dual lumen reuse. The along 2.6 French is strong microcatheter, you can do reuse. Expressman, you can do reuse. I'm not doing it because I have seen a lot of complication because of reuse. And a lot of complications with a lot of microcatheters. There were, you know, we were wandering around and we were wandering into university hospitals and public hospitals. They couldn't afford that much cost for a CTO procedure, but these were their cases, not mine. So the responsibility was on that. I am strongly against, I'm advising against using reuse, but using reuse is better than doing something and trying to improvise a new way, okay? So backup plan.
Thanks a lot, Professor.
And in retrograde, I'm strongly against. Okay, antegrately, you can maybe put your reuse microcatheter in the subintimal space and then take out a new one and then try to puncture with a new one again, maybe. But not retrogradely. If you have problem because of a reuse microcatheter in the retrograde, it's nasty. So if the patient, you know, CTO is not a must. We are not saving the patient's life. We are trying to free him from his symptoms. Okay, so we are not decreasing mortality, increasing longevity. So the only longevity increasing procedure is STMI, you know. So if the patient is psycho, wants his artery opened, he should pay. There is no other way. So this is
okay. Lastly,
yeah, we should do dual injection. We should dual injection. It doesn't matter. It's up to your preference. If you are a radial guy, then you go radial. If you're a femoral guy, you can go femoral. You can go one femoral, one radial. You can go right, left. It doesn't matter. In my practice, I would go biradial. So it doesn't matter. So in bench testing, the bench testing shows us that going from right to the left coronary and from the left to the right coronary shows us better support opportunities. But for me, I don't care. So if I try to work, if I have the feeling that I will finish antegrately, I put right to right, right to left. It doesn't matter. You know, leaning on the patient is very cumbersome and it will annoy you. So it doesn't really matter. And he put it out that should we do dual injection? Of course, we should always do dual injection. And even if we have ipsilateral filling, so you have ipsilateral filling, okay. So this is our CTO, the first case. The first case is the same, okay. So you try to cross here. You try to cross here, okay. And then maybe it is this bridge collateral that are filling. And then you go with your wire here. And then you go subintimal, okay. And then you lost your visibility antegrately. And then you inject. And then you have a big hematoma and you have a failed case. We don't want to do that. And when your wire is antegrately inside or around the lesion, we don't inject antegrately anymore. So we only inject retrogradely to decrease the likelihood of our failing and to increase our likelihood of success. We inject only retrogradely, because if you inject always antegrately in a place where you have already worked with a lot of dissections there, increase the hematoma, and the hematoma will push the ingredient towards the distal part. And then you will also lose your retrograde feeling, and the patient will begin to have pain. Yeah. So we never, ever give antegrade injection after dual injection, okay? We do dual injection, then we begin with our procedure. If our wires, if we want to see the position of our wire, we give retrograde. If we cannot see with retrograde, okay, with very controlled, but our aim is always to understand the anatomy from the retrograde injection. And here, your wire can block the bridge collaterals, and then you lose your way where to go. That's the one downside of it. The second thing is, and if you pass the lesion, you still need to know where the wire is, okay? And if blocks the antegrade filling some way, you could be either intraplaque, you could be either extraplaque. Either way, the only way to know where your wire is, you could be also, if you use Gaia, you could be also outside the vessel. And if you cannot see, and if you push your microcatheter, then you have perforation. So we have to see retrogradely. This is not an exception. Dual injection is always that we should do. So, and even without a dual injection, we cannot decide or plan. For example, so this is like a CTO. We are seeing this is a single injection. We are seeing it as a CTO. And when we are doing the dual injection, sometimes it's not even a CTO. It's a functional CTO. We understand that it's actually a functional CTO. Without dual injection, we cannot say that. And then you change your plan. You have made a plan for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We are discussing this case. Okay, it's about 45 minutes. And we are doing dual injection. So, I go with this with the flow. Maybe. So without dual injection, we don't know.
Let's move on to the second case.
Okay, let's move on to the second case. I believe this case is more challenging. This is a 56 years old male, Mr. TNR. Apparently he is obese, and his symptoms is typical chest pain with functional class a little bit poor, 2 to 3. And his history is previous PCI. The first one in 2020, the second one in 2024. No. Stable chronic coronary syndrome. The previous one in 2020, we put a stent in LAD, and then the second one in 2024, the stent is on RCA. And I will present you the picture, but I will tell about the characteristic of the patients. He is also diabetic with hypertension and with history of CVD, cerebrovascular disease, stroke. Slightly impaired renal functions, but his eGFR is still 69. Echocardiography reveals no significant findings, only the ejection fractions 59%, so still good LV and RV function. He is on routine medications with double antiplatelet, with ARB, CCB, and other risk factors medications, with oral antidiabetic also, no insulin. Okay, we move on to his ECG. They inverted in lead 3 and IVF, and other is left ventricle hypertrophy signs. This is the procedures in February 2024. His lesion is in the proximal part and distal part. At the distal part, we used only plain old balloon expansions, and in the proximal part, we put a stent. And this is the final pictures in February 2024, approximately 1.5 years ago. And he developed another symptoms. And in April 2025, 3 months ago, we did coronary angiography, and apparently the lesion is in chronic total occlusion. The JCTO score is 2 points. So this is the pictures of his RCA, and we see that in the distal part and the stent. We move on. This is from the collateral part. This is from caudal. Okay. Apparently, this is the best image that we can get at that time, probably because the slightly impaired renal functions. However, probably later on, we will get a better view of angiography and discuss a little bit better.
So yeah, this is the case. So the one that will do this case is probably Dr. Wahyu today. So probably you can tell us a bit about your planned approach for this patient.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe we will do a dual injection first, and then we try first with integrate with support of microcatheters, and with 1.5 maybe grab tip load. Then we will see what will happen.
Any comment, Prof. Gorgulu?
Yes, so just go with an 7 French both, and then putting in donor artery wiring to the LAD, first engaging LAD, and then RCA with the Judkins, and then going down with our microcatheter with a Borkhorst wire, and then trying to, 1.5, why not? But first seeing the dual injection and then decide.
Should you wire the donor artery for the donor artery also? The wire, I mean, before you're doing the integrate attempt? Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
The donor artery should always be wired.
And any particular reason for that? Why
Yeah,
you
so the reason is if you go radial, you don't want to, if you engage into the coronary, you don't want to lose your guiding catheter position. So if you have some kind of radial spasm or something, and if your donor artery is out of the vessel, re-engaging with the guiding catheter into the left main, into the donor artery, will cost you 45 minutes. And maybe you need to switch to femoral. To avoiding that, as soon as you engage the left main, you stabilize your guiding catheter first with the workhorse wire with an extra support wire. And I would use a 0.3 moderate support enrich here. It can go into LAD or CX, it doesn't matter. My goal is here to keep my position and then avoid also contrast. And if you lose your position and this has impaired renal function, and you will already waste 100 milliliter contrast in engaging that left main, and you were there, why you are not keeping your position with just with one wire? To lose cost, to reduce cost, then you should not do it. It will jeopardize the patient's safety because of one wire. So that's the reason.
So we saw some operators, especially from China, from Changbin, sometimes in this kind of situation where the CTO is predictably a bit longer, then what he will do first is he will wire through the septal collaterals just to at least mark the end of CTO, then it will save contrast and it will improve probably the safety of the antegrade crossing. What do you think about this?
We can do that, but we can do that only if the possibility of going retro is high. Okay. So if not, then I would thinking of maybe putting a microcatheter in one of those collaterals and giving contrast from that collateral to see the distal pad, we can do that as well. This CX, you know, there is this CX connecting into the distal pad, I think. We can use that one and go with the microcatheter and then give microinjection to see it can be done. What is the creatinine level of this patient?
1.2, if I'm not mistaken.
1.2 is nothing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's nothing, so we don't need it. But if it were 2.5 or 3, then I would go with the microcatheter into this vessel here, put my microcatheter there, and then give micro injections to understand my position retrogradely. So with the wire, no.
I think there's also good collateral from septal. Can you see?
Them. Yeah, they're.
Okay, play please. Next. Okay, play this. Say this. Please. Okay, yeah. Oh. Next one. Okay, this one. Oh, next one. Case number 2. Case number 2. Okay. Yes. Or just keep it playing, it's fine. Just keep it playing.
Yeah, we have some collaterals, but don't be deceived by these collaterals. Seeing a collateral doesn't mean you can get them easily. So there are some cases you try 1 hour to go in one of those, but then you end up using this one without seeing anything and crossing it. So, and using a septal should be kept for second, third option. We have an antegrade option here, and we will do dual injection, and then it's instant restenosis, and it should not be that difficult to go with 1.5, 3 or 4 or 6 gram into the distal vessel. So we will manage it antegradely, I think. So I know you're keen on doing retrograde, but it should be only done when it's necessary. So when we are out of options. So
how about the approach epicardial side?
You mean if necessary? No, I think this is coming from here, from the septal, from here. This is not epicardial, I think. So let me play this one here again. Play it, please. You see? Yeah, this is a septoepicardial. Yeah, but the distal ones are more prone to become epicardial. So, but it's okay if we need. I hope we don't need. But if we need, then we have options. That's good. Technically, these are collaterals that can be used. So there is no contraindication in using them. Yeah, that one, and we have another one downwards. The third one, yeah, the other one, the down, and the other one as well. Yeah, that one as well. So we have options there. Yeah, but if our creatinine level would be 2.5 or 3, then maybe we could have put one wire in one of those without giving contrast. But then finding these septals need also contrast. So we have to. Yeah, but if you go into that, but before going into that, you need to see where you're going. Then you have to always give contrast to see whether you're entering in the right septal or not. So it's also not contrast loss, you know. So, but in this case, we don't need it.
So there's a online question from one of our co-papers tomorrow.
Yeah.
In this case, or in general, when you're facing a CTO RCA, will you try the GR first, or you always use the AL guiding?
So it depends. We have been discussing it with Todung as well. So if I have a proximal RCA CTO, and if it's a blunt stump, and if I need some kind of dissection, I prefer AL1 first. If I have a dissection, I don't care. It helps me at least to go antegrately with my knuckle wire, so it helps me. But if my proximal segment is healthy, and if my CTO is in the middle part, and if the CTO, before the CTO, I have a lot of big branches, I don't want to mess with the proximal part with an AL1. I don't want to have that part healthy, keeping it healthy. I go with GR. But when I go with GR, I use one of those big branches to anchor. So, and my guiding position will, my guiding position will determine whether I proceed with that one or I need anchor or guide extension, something like that. And using AL1 doesn't guarantee you that you have a good support. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes even if you use an AL1, you need some anchoring as well.
The angulation of the ostia of RCA, for example, like this and up. Is it possible to choose GR and AL, for example?
So as I said, it doesn't matter, Ali. If I have a proximal CTO, I don't care about dissecting. I go with an AL1 to have good support as well. But if I want to proximal part to be intact and not be touched, and then I go with GR, yeah. But for the left system, there is no exception. We should always use an extra backup, okay? There is no Judkins thing in the left system, okay? You will not see one single experienced CTO operator using a Judkins guiding catheter or Judkins diagnostic catheter on the left. Okay, it's always guiding. XP, extra backup. On the left system, you mean? I don't know, but around the world, all expert CTO operators are using XP, extra backup, ABU, or they have ABU from APT. Do you have them here? ABU, ABU. It's an extra backup. Yeah, okay, so we can use it. Yeah, so Abu, but 7 French. 7 French,
Seven
Abu.
French, okay.
So yeah, not Judkins, okay. Left system. If you see someone doing diagnostic on the donor artery, and if he claims that he is a very experienced CTO operator, he is not, okay. So always guiding catheter, okay. 2 guiding catheters. Because if you are not an experienced retrograde operator, what will you do if you have some kind of donor artery dissection? You should treat it. You don't have time to take it out. And to keep your position there with your catheter, you need a wire into the donor artery. So you can go with 6 French if you don't want to go with 7. I can understand that, but my routine is always 7.
Thank you. Due to limited time, I think now it's time for some of us to do Friday ring. Then we'll come back again to have lunch and prepare the cases. Okay, thank you and see you later.
My pleasure.